This is Optimal Finance Daily, episode 1129, Personal Finance is Personal, Why We Shouldn't Judge Others, Part 2, by Nick True of mappedoutmoney.com. And I'm your host and narrator of the show. My name is Dan, and I am here every day reading to you from some of the best personal finance blogs on the planet. Today's post is from Nick True, and if you have any topic requests for us or an author you'd like us to reach out to and see if we can read their content, share those ideas with us, please, at oldpodcast.com. That's oldpodcast.com. Now, today's post is actually a continuation from yesterday, so if you're new here, you might want to listen to yesterday's episode first. That's episode 1128. But if you are all caught up, let's hear part 2 as we continue optimizing your life. Personal Finance is Personal, Why We Shouldn't Judge Others, Part 2, by Nick True of mappedoutmoney.com. Recognize the problem is deeper. The first problem is that most people have a misconception of money. They assume that everyone has the same needs, wants, desires, etc. They assume that everyone wants a new car and a big house, an iPhone, cable TV, and a beach vacation every year. And if you deviate from that at all, well, then you're just cheap. These people don't understand the idea of being extremely tight on some things so that you can spend a lot on others. For example, Hannah and I don't really care for nice cell phones, so we pay $25 per month total for our cell phones. This saves us close to $1,000 a year compared to the average cell phone bill. We also just bought a dog a few weeks ago for $1,000. Now, most people would think that's insane, but it was extremely important to us that we get a very specific breed. To us, it was worth it. And we would rather save money in places we don't care about to spend extravagantly on the things we do care about. The second thing you need to realize about people judging is that most of the time it comes out of a jealousy or insecurity. As humans, we hate feeling like we're doing something wrong or stupid, and when people do something different than us, it sometimes makes us feel like we're inferior. So we start justifying our actions, and then we start making assumptions about other people. This is why overweight people claim that they're enjoying life more than skinny people. They claim skinny people don't get to have any fun because they're counting calories. It's why people who live paycheck to paycheck say that people who save are cheap and that they're actually using their money to enjoy their life. And it's why when I tell people about how little my cell phone bill is, they immediately start telling me all the reasons they need their expensive iPhone. And I'm always like, dude, I don't care how much you pay for your phone. If you've thought about it and it's worth it to you, then by all means, go for it. That's great. It doesn't make a difference to me. But people start to feel insecure about their own actions whenever they're around someone who does something different. So just recognize this. It's the first step to not letting this judgment bother you. Realize that their judgment isn't really about you, it's about them. Judging others' finances doesn't help anyone. So, we've talked about how people judge without any good reason, and we've talked about the deeper problem behind this and how we can start learning to just ignore it. But now it's time to talk about our own judging. That's right, the judging that we do. And I know you do it too. But if you hate it so much when others judge you, why in the world would you judge others? And I'm not getting on you here. I'm calling out myself. I struggle with this. Especially because I write about finance, I often think I know more than others, even though I don't. But I can turn the very same thing I said earlier on myself. After all, I don't know the context of their situation. I don't know how much money they have or how much money they've inherited. How could I possibly know if something is a good or bad decision for them? And yet it doesn't stop me either. Maybe it's because I'm insecure, or maybe it's because I'm jealous. But either way, this judgment doesn't help me. As Katie Heron famously said in Mean Girls, calling somebody else fat doesn't make you any skinnier. So why do we do it? For me, I think it's a mixture. Sometimes it's jealousy. It's not always that I wish I had more money than I do. It's actually weirder than that. Sometimes I wish I cared less about personal finance than I do. Like, I wish I could not think so long-term about money and just live for the moment a little more. Yeah, I think it would cost me in the long run, but the human side of me thinks it would be fun to be financially irresponsible sometimes. I'd be lying if I said I didn't think that. Other times I think I do it out of a superiority. I have a problem thinking I'm better than others because of how I spend my money, and looking down on people makes me feel that way. It's the same reason good-looking middle schoolers make fun of the acne-covered kid. I know this makes me sound awful, but I'm just being honest. And I have a hunch that I'm not alone. We're all human. We all have flaws. These are mine. Now, what are yours? Next time you start to judge someone for what they're spending, try to stop and ask yourself why you're doing it. Are you jealous? Are you insecure? Or are you trying to feel superior? Realize that this isn't helpful for anyone, and not only hurts them, but it hurts you as well. Personal finance is personal. The bottom line here is that everyone is different. In the same way that everyone finds their own career, place to live, timing to get married, time to have kids, how many kids to have, etc., people also find their own way when it comes to finances. We hate it when people judge us, and it's time for us to stop judging others, starting with me. I need to spend more time focusing on my own finances and helping others instead of watching from a distance and judging them. What about you? What will you start with? You just listened to part 2 of the post titled Personal Finance is Personal: Why We Shouldn't Judge Others by Nick True of MappedOutMoney.com. And that's another episode and another weekend of Optimal Finance Daily in the books. I thank you as always for your support and for listening each and every day, and I'll be back with more posts for you starting Monday. So have a great rest of your weekend, and I will catch you here tomorrow where your optimal life awaits.